Hello, Galaxy! I had to think about which direction I wanted to shoot my hand, so I think I did it the right direction. Is there a wrong direction, really? I don't know. Is it better under the chat or away from the chat? The chat that's always going on. I'm Chris Pirillo, and you are tuned in to the daily live Star Wars Radar community feed. What is on your Star Wars radar? That's really what I want to know, because I know what's on my Star Wars radar, and I like talking about that. But this is a chance for us to talk about the things that happened today in Star Wars. Like, what do you want to talk about? I know what I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. First, I'm going to talk about us broadcasting on just about every single platform out there, including Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Mixer, Periscope, for those of you who still watch Periscope on Twitter. You can follow us on Twitter, naturally, Star Wars Radar. That's usually the handle or the URL on just about any popular social media platform. So, now that we got the administrivia completely out of the way, I just did a video in my personal channel talking about how I save money on Star Wars stuff. So I thought today, you know, as we're talking about some of the things that are on our respective radars, I would actually, like, open and unbox some of the things I just talked about saving money on. So thank you. Let me go ahead and give shout-outs to those who have come and to join us to talk. Taylor, nice to see you. Thanks again for your membership. And also, Cheesy Sword. I appreciate both of your support. Cheesy Sword is now the second member of the Star Wars Radar YouTube channel. I do appreciate it. That means you'll see in chat here in the actual video, those are the emoji triggers that only YouTube members get to see on the YouTube page itself. So it's got like custom emoji that apparently does not embed in this particular chat. So thank you for your membership. I appreciate it. The big news, before I get into the stuff that I wanted to show, the big news is Celebration has been announced for 2020, happening August 27th through the 30th, 2020, at the Anaheim Convention Center. That was the last time I went to Celebration, was in Anaheim. See, Super Awesome Geek Show is trying to get me to do it, but see, it's not just $195 for the weekend. Like, okay, so wait, these are just the dates. The dates have been announced, not just the tickets. So you got to get the pass. Then you have to figure out where you're going to, so then you have to pay for the pass, the flight, the hotel, food, all the merch you're going to take home, and suddenly it's a very expensive weekend. So it's not as straightforward as like, oh yeah, I could do that. Yeah, not a problem. Yeah, we don't have that many members yet. I don't have a sponsor for it. The last time I did go, it was with the sponsor though. Verizon Wireless was doing an engagement with Lucasfilm at the time. It was for The Force Awakens. So I got lucky. That's how I went to Celebration. I'd like to go again. Anaheim's a pretty quick trip. But of course, then if I go there, then I'm going to want to go to Galaxy's Edge. It never ends, right? God, that's like, suddenly, I'm serious. You're talking about like a $5,000 weekend, dude. That ain't nothing to sneeze at. It ain't cheap. I don't know if I can do it. I'd love to. I want to do it. Can't wait, kind of, but I don't know. No, you don't. You're going to try to like get me to do it. You guys are going to try to push me to do it, but I'm not going to do it. I can't do it. I can't afford it. I know we all can. We all got to figure it out, but like, how do you begin to budget for a Star Wars weekend like that? How do you begin to budget? Because you got to do all the things. It's in Anaheim. You got to do all the things. So before it scrolls off the screen, talking Star Wars, do I think R2-D2 and C-3PO will show up in Mandalorian? It's possible. It'd be kind of fun. I don't know. I don't know if I'd be interested in that happening. It's not like I'd be looking for it. It'd be neat. But the question is, does it fit? And that's where I always, that's where I draw the line. Anytime you can just tell, oh, they did this for the fans. Does it fit? Or is it just kind of like, they're just throwing it out there just to throw it out there? So if it's done tastefully, if it fits the story, I'm good to go. Oh, Polly says Periscope there. Awesome. You only get, the only alert you get on time. No doubt. Like every other alert. Where is Laughing Man? Thank you for following me on Twitch. But I don't know. That's it's an easy question. I'd say yes, but only if it fits in the story. I can tell you where C-3PO and R2-D2 are going to show up on camera. I talked about this in terms of saving money. That little tips video I just recorded. Available now at Ross for about $7, $6.99. Ross here in the States. Toys R Us exclusive, former Toys R Us exclusive. Purchase, you could get it for like what, $12 to $15, I think it retailed for. So $7 for these two. Okay, I'm in. Yeah, I'm an inbox collector, so to speak, but I also believe in kind of tearing into product and you know, I'm not I should point this out. I'm not coordinated. I tried to flip this back behind the chair. Yeah, that's what I tried to do. So you can't have too many of these. I don't know. I mean, you can't really army build with 3PO, but he's iconic. I've always been a fan of the droids. So these are also the Force Link 2, which means on the bottom of their feet, you'll see the little green marker. And then you would use the Force Link. See, I keep things like, you know, an arm's length away. This is not a prop. I just, like, you know, kind of pulled it out. Pardon me while I whip this out to, you know, Blazing Saddles? Anybody? Blazing Saddles? No? Yes? No? So, there. You guys are trying to... Hey, Usual Mike, what's going on? Great YouTube channel. I know you guys are trying to get me to go to Celebration. I know you are, and I want to go. I have to calculate the numbers. Let me see. Do I need to hold it closer? So you can... Oh, wow, yeah. Yeah. I am also a big fan of the Solo 3.75-inch figures. But then again, 3.75 inches is my scale. That is like my favorite scale. Absolutely. If I see another pack of these for, you know, the price, I may grab them for my daughter. She may enjoy them as well. She's got a little R2-D2 collection. This one, pretty non-clean, which is great. SW Kidcast, what's going on? I'm in BC, even further to travel for Anaheim for Celebration 2020. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? How am I going to do this? I don't know how I'm going to do this. It's a great question, isn't it? How am I going to pull off Celebration? That is the question, isn't it? The R2-D2 also has a... Hang on. The little rockets that you put on the side. The flames actually come off, too. So. Give me a second. There we go. See, and then they go on to the side of R2. I think they just kind of clip on. Clip on, right? You know, like earrings. Clip on. You gotta make sure you point it the right direction. I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. Yeah? Yeah, they clip onto the sides. Then you got a rocket-powered R2-D2. One of the actually, who asked me the other day what's one thing the prequels got right? You know, giving us rocket-powered R2-D2 is one of those things. I'm like, dude, he could do that? That is so cool. Just like that. Let's see here. What else do we have? Will or should Vader show up in Jedi Fallen Order? That would be neat. I'd like to see it, certainly. Although, that said, when it comes to, like, those characters in Battlefront, I can't control them very well. At all. So I was like, I'd look forward to it, but I don't know if I could handle it. I could barely handle those giant spiders. Yeah, it'd be neat to see, as long as it fits the story. And if it fits the story, I'm good to go. I don't know if it... Does it take place in the same era? Oh, I guess it would. Past Revenge of the Sith, right? I suppose it's entirely possible. Plausible. SW Kids Cast, maybe this will be your first Celebration finally. Ah, man. Like, everyone's gonna be there. I know. They're gonna be there. I know. They're going to be there. Everyone's gonna be there. I don't know if I can do it, though. I really don't know if I can do it. So, yeah, that's a thing. The Celebration was the big news. That kind of like sucked the air out of, you know, the room as soon as that happened. Which is good, but see, now having gone to Celebration, it was probably one of the best events of my life because everywhere you looked, it was Star Wars. Everyone was there for the same reason. You know, Star Wars, right? And every vendor was awesome. Everything. I didn't even get a chance to like do half the panels. The big panels I did go to. My big story was, well, one of them, James Arnold Taylor was on stage and he was interviewing Mark Hamill. And this was a couple days after they first played the trailer for The Force Awakens. And it was just, the energy in the room was palpable. But James Arnold Taylor was interviewing Mark, and somehow they got on the topic of autographs, and he says, you know, well, I see if I had a Sharpie, I'd have you autograph my shoe. That's what James Arnold Taylor said to Mark Hamill. And I'm sitting close to the front row, and I've got my vest on, so I pull out the the Sharpie. I'm like, I do, like, and everyone like, yeah. So I gave the Sharpie to James Arnold Taylor. He takes it, says thank you, gets Mark Hamill to autograph his shoe. So and he gave the Sharpie back. So I have the Sharpie that James Arnold Taylor gave to Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill used to sign James Arnold Taylor's shoe. How's that for a collectible? Crazy. I love it though. Oh, it's crazy. Crazy. Yeah, that's my big celebration story. Probably, well, I'd say the biggest celebration story. Give me a second. Just checking something else. Someone was asking, apply for YouTube partnership. You can get the super chat option. Oh, you have to have so many subscribers and view time and a whole bunch of other stuff in order to toggle a lot of that stuff on, which isn't a big deal, but it takes time. Like, it's a big deal in the sense that YouTube's making it not easy for everybody to do, but once you've got a solid community and a rock solid start, then you're on your path. And it may take time. It may take time. It may take time to build. I've always had a pretty good foundation of geeks though, in my community. So it was a little easier for me to achieve than I think some. But I've been at this for a long time. Maybe not Star Wars stuff specifically, but the internet, as it were. It was you who asked about the prequels. Well, I'm glad I could loop back with that. So Cheesy Sword, who's been reading Alphabet Squadron, right? Fun fact of the day: Cal Kestis in Jedi Fallen Order can be seen using the power of psychometry. Did I say that right? Which allows Jedi to sense the history of an object, made famous by Quinlan Voss. Whoa, really? Oh, okay, cool. Works for me. I'm always into those kind of powers, like things that I hadn't heard of before. I'm like, I suppose. I mean, it makes sense. If there's one. Speaking of history of objects, I don't know if this is a Father's Day gift or what, but like someone sent me Star Wars socks, and Diana didn't say anything. Maybe my parents sent me Star Wars socks. Pretty neat. Like, I got Admiral Akbar socks saying it's a trap on both sides. It's a trap. Admiral Akbar socks, huh? And some X-Wing, TIE Fighter. I don't know who sent these. No one has claimed the socks. But it's always nice to have a pair or a few pair of Star Wars socks. It's 4 pair. So someone knows me well enough to know that if you're going to give me socks, if you're going to give me clothing, let it be Star Wars. What's the big panel for 2020 Mandalorian TV series panel? 2020 would probably... Ooh. Because they're not going to do any films for a while, till the next trilogy, I guess. I wonder what the big panel is going to be. It'd be some kind of show. Maybe they'd be announcing another new show. An Obi-Wan show, maybe. Don't know. All things are possible with Disney Plus. I don't know. 40th anniversary panel for ESB. That'd be neat. I'm not sure if that'd be as much of a draw. I mean, sure, you get Harrison Ford on stage, it's going to be a draw, but yeah, I don't know. It's a really good that's a good question. I can't imagine it not being tied to entertainment, obviously Star Wars, but I'm not sure if it'd be just the 40th anniversary stuff. I'm not sure that's strong enough. They got to have like a launch, like something with like pent up demand, forward pent up demand. So it's got to be, it's going to be celebration, right? So it's going to be good. But Cassian Andor already has the series. Maybe it's a launch for that. Don't know, because we haven't seen anything on that. I'd imagine though that would launch in the spring next year to keep things kind of rolling. I mean, unless there's enough velocity around the Mandalorian launching later this year. They're going to have something. And maybe it's telling people or giving people maybe not a sneak peek of the next trilogy, but really talking about what is the scope of the next trilogy? Like, what is the time frame of the next trilogy? And if we know that's pretty... I think that would be a big draw, just knowing what because it's been rumored that it's the Old Republic, which totally okay with. I'm like, they want to go in the future, they want to go to the back. I don't care where they go. I don't care. I am just happy that they're doing it. That is my forevermore position on Disney. I don't think there's anything Disney could do to change that. I just genuinely don't. I've been fine with the way they've been taking it. Not everybody is. I think that's okay too. But I'm not going to take away from the other people enjoying something just because I don't enjoy it, or try not to. It gets difficult sometimes because people want to know your opinion, right? Like, oh, what did you think about this? I'm like, wasn't my thing, and then they get mad at you. Like, everyone clamors for your opinion, and then you give it, and then they're mad because you gave them your opinion. Nah, they didn't want to hear your opinion. They wanted to hear you validate theirs. There's a big difference between those two types of people. So I'm very glad you're here to share your opinions and to listen to me. And to share it all together. Whatever is on your radar. I'd be shocked if anything else was on the Star Wars radar today, apart from that. That was the big one. Of course, my feeds, my social feeds personally are dominated by it. So I do see a lot. And sometimes the days start blending in together. But it's something... it's a big something to look forward to. Okay, John... Sorry, Super Awesome Geek Show. You should all subscribe to him too. You subscribe to Usual Mike. If Talking Star Wars is, if you're doing regular videos, you should subscribe to other creators, peer creators here, and then Super Awesome Geek Show. In fact, Super Awesome Geek Show, just the video I watched how you cut the bubble off of cards, which I've never really done. I never really went that far with cards. I just rip them off. I hold on to the cards, but not necessarily in the same way. Let's see here. It divides your audience, and it's rough on YouTube to do, going around handing out opinions. Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, but I'm not going to keep my opinions to myself. If I like something, I like something. I tend not to talk about the things I don't like, unless I really don't like them, then I talk about them. But that's why I tend to stick to the topics that I do like talking about. Star Wars. If I had one complaint, okay, fine. You want me to get angry? I'll get angry. I'm not going to get angry about being hosted there on Mixer. Thank you for hosting me there, Willie. Someone there on Periscope says I don't age. Of course I don't age. It's what Star Wars does. Keeps you young, man. Keeps you young at heart. So I'm angry. I'm so angry at Disney. Not for ruining my childhood, which they didn't do and is impossible to do because you can't rewind the clock, and that's not how childhoods get ruined. I'm mad at Disney because there's not enough Star Wars. I'm so mad. There's not enough. So there. Okay. I'm so glad I got that out of my system. That's how I feel. But remember, I lived through the dark times, man. When there was nothing, right? I'd take anything. Sorry, I'm unboxing the Black Series Grievous now. See, because I love doing the show. I love talking to you guys about all this stuff because it gives me a chance to open this stuff. Otherwise, it just, I'm like, when am I going to, I want to savor the moment. I'm savoring the moment with you. Thank you for sharing it with me, this moment. What does that say? Pretty good read in the style of the 80s slasher movie with Darth Vader as the villain. It's possible. That's the, oh, hang on. I missed the first comment. I thought you were talking about, would it be interesting if that happened? Yeah. Well, apparently it did happen. The 5th issue of Vader Dark Visions. So, I usually save up my comics to get shipped to me once a month. They're in a box, not here. I'll bring it up tomorrow. I'll show you the comics that I got this month. The comics that you might get. And who knows? Maybe we'll read one together. I've threatened to do that now a couple of times. To actually read a Star Wars comic with everybody. Hang on. Grievous is a great figure, and I love the Grievous figures. The problem is, very few Grievous figures balance. It's not even a problem of articulation. They just never balance well. And forget the Disney, the Elite series, the diecast, the Grievous. I had to give up on him. He just kept falling over. It was sad. It was a sad day that I could not stand up that Grievous. So we'll see how this Grievous stands up. Okay, so we can bring his arms together or separate them. Is that possible to do? Yeah, they kind of come together. So he's got his blaster here, the 4 lightsabers. Love the level of detail in this. And honestly, priced just like a regular Black Series figure, the way I bought it. I mentioned in the previous video how to save money on Star Wars stuff. But I got this for $20. They're pretty much new store exclusives. Barnes & Noble had it on sale online for $20. And even though it was out of stock, you could effectively go to BestBuy.com and Best Buy price matches. So effectively, what I did was had Best Buy price match the Grievous, and so I got the Grievous at Best Buy for $20. Picked up at the store too. Let's see if he's gonna. This one's gonna be tricky to balance. See if I can get it just right. If I can get him to balance off camera. Oh wow. Okay. I gotta tell you, and it may change. You can see the top of Grievous's head there. Here, let me stack it up on something else I got for sale. Target has clearance items. This one's 418 down from 14. Crazy. Like I couldn't pass it up. But that Vader, the vinyl Vader, because I'm not so sold on the Luke outright, but I'll just take that Vader out. Doesn't have his helmet, but still, it's a Vader. $4 for both. I was going to basically try to stand it on this one, even though the surface isn't flat, but he still balances, which is quite a surprise. Happy surprise there. Again, just showcase that. I don't know if I'm going to unbox that today. Peaking of Star Wars today, Arcade 1UP has revealed Atari Star Wars cabinet. Yeah, we talked about it briefly yesterday. Totally want it. Not sure where it could go. I'll find a place for it. So here's an interesting thing. I'm trying to bring. Let me hold this up here. So the Grievous hands, there's a prong or a peg on one hand here, and then an empty socket on the other hand. So apparently they can go together, but getting them to go together may be a trick because it's like the hands are like almost turned apart from one another. How could I get that to work without snapping anything? Oh, there we go. Okay, it came together. Come together right now over Grievous. This year has honestly been so great for Star Wars books that I'm falling a bit behind. Yeah, dude, you're ahead of me. You got to give me updates on these Star Wars novels. You got to be the connection here. Again, I tend to be more, and I think we talked about this. Someone who listens to the books more so than reads them. If only because I am in my car frequently enough. Chris needs more Star Wars. What he needs is fixed. Come on, Disney. I know, this is what I'm saying. Grievous has fallen off his shelf display 60 times now. Gee, do you know what I'm saying? Super Awesome Geek Show? It's a challenge. You have to engineer these Grievous figures so well. And they're worth it, too, because the sculpts are always just amazing. It looks like we have a Velcro cape. No, it's a sewn cape. The cape is sewn together. It would have been an interesting thing to actually have like a snap-on, like fire, like the exploding, dying Grievous. You have multiple points of articulation around the neck swivel. It's kind of a ball joint up there. You've got the arms that move independent of one another or clip together easily. You can balance out through the knees. I guess what you call it, the Grievous's ankles also swivel. This part also goes up and down right there. So you've got multiple points of articulation. So once you find the perfect spot, you should be able to balance Grievous. I'm probably going to put the lightsabers in his hands and get him to balance. He's balanced. He's right there. You can't see it. By the way, this weekend I'm thinking on Saturday I may do a long live stream putting the Lego Star Wars Vader together, the bust, the Target exclusive bust. I figured out how to pivot this camera down, and I think it'll work out well. Thank you, Bama Hut, for hosting me there on Mixer and or Twitch. I'm not sure if Twitch makes that gives that notification. You're upset that they are gouging that Star Wars cabinet. Oh, they are? Wait. So you found a price. The other cabinets are 5 to 6 games and cost $160 at Walmart and Target. The Star Wars is under $500 for 3 games. Just under $500? See, I had a feeling it would go for about $300 to $500. I had a feeling. See, I don't know if I could justify that cost on top of justifying that space. Like, I'd have to figure out where it would go before I could even think about requisitioning $500 for that. Because I can play those games on my arcade cabinet. It's not the same. Now you got me thinking, where could I put it? See, that's the thing, Super Awesome Geek Show. How could I budget for that? I think, how could I budget for that? Not necessarily, how could I budget for a trip to Celebration? Because it's incremental, right? Versus that experience. I got to figure it out. I have to figure it out. And in fact, you got me thinking. I've got some thoughts. I'm gonna write things down. That's the part. Grievous just fell over. One of you breathed, didn't you? You breathed. That's how great. How Grievous fell over. Yeah, Grievous is always a challenge. The 3 Star Wars games, the marquee light thing, and the weird looking handle thing. Marquee Late. Marquee, the title Marquee. Hang on, it's on the smaller side. Yeah, it's on the smaller side. It's not like a standard cabinet. I gotta write this down. I think I've figured out a way to get the celebration. It'll be a long shot, but a shot I'm willing to take. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to do it. Thank you for the nudges, but I think I got it. I think I figured it out. See, that's what if it was just me sitting here, I'd be lamenting. I wouldn't have the ability to kind of bounce off of everybody and talk about this stuff. So that's why I love having these kinds of dialogues. I don't know if I'm going to be able to think through how to get that arcade cabinet, though. That may be a bit more of a stretch. If I got it, where would I put it? Because you wouldn't want to, like, stick it away. Like, our whole home is kind of a Star Wars playland, honestly. Couldn't put it in the hallway, necessarily. Wouldn't want to necessarily stick it in the front room. Where could it go? Where would Diana let me put it? That's the better question. Where I could get to it easily, right? And play it, at a moment's notice. Yeah, that one's gonna be tough. Am I getting smuggled in? No, I'm not gonna get smuggled in. It's not something subversive like that. That would be a fun way of doing it. But no, I think I've got the I think I've got a way. I think I've thought of a way. So yeah, Grievous figure, good pickup, very light. Would I recommend it at 30? Maybe not. At 20, yes. Some Black Series figures, I wish they were priced differently. Of course, you can't challenge the state of the market, and it's gonna get worse too. I'm telling you, especially these things not being made domestically. I fear for modern toy collecting. It may drive more people to go vintage. That's for sure. Just a second. I'm pulling out the lightsabers. Boy, these are really nice blades. Of course, unique hilts. Now, I guess maybe I'm not a true Star Wars nerd. So a true Star Wars nerd could probably tell you whose blades these are. I'm not sure I could. I don't think I can. I'm not sure if there are any Jedi I know. It's a distinct possibility I would. But those are the details. That's when you really get detailed. Like, if I knew a ton about Grievous, yeah, I'd probably know. I always liked Grievous more in the Clone Wars, though, than Revenge of the Sith. In Revenge of the Sith, he was kind of a throwaway character, which is really disappointing. But if you liked Grievous, of course, in Revenge of the Sith, you owe it to yourself. You really do. To watch the Clone Wars. I think people have written off the Clone Wars because it's a cartoon. They've written off Rebels. They've written off Resistance. And I think you do that at your own peril. It's good entertainment, man. It's solid storytelling. Clone Wars is awesome. So these arms are super articulated. Super, as you would expect. Wow. Now the question is, after Grievous is kind of set and ready to rock and roll, can I get him to balance? Even with all these lightsaber hilts. Not just hilts, but they're ignited. Okay. You can see the tip of the lightsaber here. He's actually standing up. He's standing straight up. I will tell you this. At $30, he's probably worth the price of admission because he balances. And that is priceless when it comes to Grievous figures, as you all very well know. So this gets a massive pass from me. Massive pass. Probably not just in terms of the detail, the paint app, the sculpt. I mean, like all the way down to his eyes. Look at that. Very detailed, but most importantly, the number one thing you want in a Grievous figure is balance. And he's got it. Just barely messing around here. Not a problem at all. It doesn't take much to get him to where you need him to stand. There, I did it again. You can see the tip of the blue blade there. Or, yeah. I kept saying hilt, but the hilt, of course, is the base. So, Anyway, All Black Series 14 on sale at Walmart this week. Yeah, but here's Super Awesome Geek Show. Okay, here's the thing. Walmarts in my area here in Seattle are horrible. Like, our Star Wars section literally has nothing in it. There's no Star Wars at our Walmart. None whatsoever. None. Nothing. Not even peg warmers. None. Like, I almost went to another store and bought the vintage collection Snoke to bring to Walmart and put it on a peg just so I could see Star Wars at Walmart again. They got nothing. Nothing. How they keep getting handed exclusives is beyond me. It's horrible. And I'm not the only one. Walmart's got a massive problem. Target's been a boon by comparison. Target is a godsend. I'm gonna slag the retailers because Walmart's just they're not doing it. You got to order online. And one of the other things that I got to unbox in a future video here is the Jabba's Palace playset. That apparently got pulled. It got canceled. So that's in limbo. I don't know. I got lucky and I got one. I don't know if other people will be so lucky. That's Walmart. You don't think there's history on the lightsabers in canon? That's kind of shocking. Steven says, Chris, you're funny and you like Star Wars, so it's got to be good. Of course. Naturally. Star Wars is fun. Come on. Yeah, it's all good. So welcome aboard, Steven. Happy to have you. Went to Star Tours back in the early 90s. I didn't even go when I went to Disneyland a couple of weeks ago for Galaxy's Edge. I got the ticket because it's collectible, and went to the gift shop, but didn't ride it because I knew that I'd be jostled, and I'm like, I think I'm okay. I've ridden it a few times, and I'm good to go. But of course, the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run makes Star Tours feel like very antiquated, incredibly antiquated. It's a deluxe figure, everyone. It's a D1. Yes, sorry, usual mic. I threw that back, but the side of the box does show it is a deluxe figure. I wonder why it's a deluxe figure though. I mean, maybe is it the size? It is D1. I got lucky a few weeks ago. Another Target exclusive, the Gamorrean Guard Black Series 6-inch. They were originally 30, then clearanced out. And when I got this one, it was out of the system. Like, I knew I could buy it for like $7, but it was out of the system. So they gave it to me for $7. The Gamorrean Guard 6-inch with the real fur there on his tunic. Can't have enough of these. Mouth opens. Great little army builder. Head pivots up and down. That's my little story. He was a deluxe figure too. Because he's bigger, right? I don't know. So I just wish they didn't do that. I wish they were all like in the same series, but I guess it's the box sizes that may very well dictate it. You need an AT-AT model soon. There should be plenty. Certainly vintage. I don't know if I've seen any recent models, but I'm not into model building. Never really was. Don't know why. It wasn't my thing necessarily. Florida has 50 million Walmart stores. Well, I'm gonna have to. Honestly, if I see something at Walmart to keep an eye, there are a lot of things I'm trying to keep my eye out for. This is where I wish I was a software developer. I'm not even joking. You mostly buy online. Stephen Ghana, you almost have to. Like, especially for like the new series, because otherwise you just can't get them. You can't. It's impossible. So if I was a developer, and I've been meaning to have a talk with Chris B about this, the guy who does JediBusiness.com. Amazing website, amazing podcast. I'm not saying that because I was just a guest. Good guy, also local. But, like, I wish I had a place where I can say, these are the things I'm looking for. And the people who, I might follow people, and the people who follow me would know, oh, Chris is looking for this, which is Walmart exclusive. I'm near Walmart. I can get it for him. And if I know someone's looking for something, and I have access to it, sometimes I've made hookups for people, right? And there are a lot of exclusives or things that I can't get, especially on discount. Like, I just miss them. They're not available in and around where I live. And the things that I end up having to get online. A lot of Walmart stuff. Like the TIE Fighters I didn't get. The new TIE Fighters that got clearanced out. So, yeah, John, we mentioned it the other day. The Lego video game next year. All 9 Star Wars movies in one game. The Skywalker Saga. Can't wait to get it. Can't wait to play it. Stream it with y'all. Play it all the way through. It'll be the first Lego game I've played all the way through. I've only dabbled in Lego Star Wars games to this point. Just never got into them. Not because I don't enjoy Lego or Star Wars. I do. Just never got into them. Now I've got an excuse. I can do gameplay streaming which is awesome. I don't know what Disney's original reason for making EU Legends and not canon. But I thought the other day that it was probably because of Chewbacca. Possibly. So $7 in Australia is $80 online for the Gammy Guard. Oh man, that's horrible. Walmart's website works. BrickSeek also works for Walmart. I guess BrickSeek may have stopped working for Target too. So in terms of I've had this discussion before, like why did Disney make things canon and Legends? I don't think it's about any one character. I think it's an amalgamation of a lot of things. Like Star Wars was Wild West. It was crazy. Like I read a few of the EU novels, reading about Kip Duron and the whole lot, and learning about the future of all our favorite characters. But the thing that bothered me is that it was difficult to keep track of, and there were conflicts, and I wasn't sure anymore. I'm like, well, is this Star? Well, it's Star Wars, and I'm enjoying the stories, but there was something that was always missing for me, and I don't know if it was because of the lack of cohesion. So when Disney took it over, they needed a clean slate for creativity reasons, yes, but more than anything, they had to rein things in. They did, because it was the Wild West. It needed to be reined in, and I'm not saying that you're a horrible person if you don't believe that, because you're not. You're entitled to your own opinion, but you've got to think about it from a mass market's perspective. Like, there's no way Disney could have moved forward with this if it was still the Wild West. It would just be, completely impossible. They wouldn't have been able to do it. So Cheesy Sword mentions a lot of changing the old EU to Legends is that there were some overlapping stories and details that conflicted. Yeah, even though that stuff isn't canon, the stories are still really good. Yeah, so I completely concur. I've told people, I've been pretty bold about it. I'm like, just get, it's not Star Wars, it's Star Wars-y. It's Star Wars-ish, but it's not. And I don't know what to say, but now there is canon, which means this is what it is. And I've had arguments with people who are like stuck in the mindset of Legends is canon. They said, well, how is that possible? Because, Thrawn, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, time out. You're talking Legends. We're not on the same page. We're not having the same conversations here. And if anything, having something canon or not canon helps clarify those conversations. So I, for one, though I have enjoyed EU, certainly the figures out of the EU, like the Sith figures that came out of that's the one thing I wish I wish I would have stayed current on all those figures, but I didn't, because I've had to go back and get them. The ones that I really, really like when I do I will, when the office is clean, I'll do an office tour. You'll see, but because I always like figures, and I like the monsters, aliens, creatures, cyborgs, robots. They were always my thing. So I didn't get Darth Revan until later. Ended up getting Darth Revan on clearance at Best Buy. I got him loose here. Although we saw a girl cosplay Revan at a Christmas party last year. This one was $10 for this Revan, 6-inch. They're going to be re-releasing the 3 3/4 inch, probably a slightly updated sculpt and paint apps on it. But that's something that you should be aware of, so that you don't rush out and do what I did and spend way too much on a Darth Revan 3.75 inch figure. I also have the Lego minifigure of the Darth Revan. I got lucky with that as well. Walmart Canada told you no more Star Wars exclusives because of Disney. Well, it's probably because of the way Walmart's handled things. That's in my opinion. Everything's my opinion. Everything. Galaxy's Edge changes the theme park game. Oh, dude, it totally cranks it up a notch. I'm interested in what they're doing with Marvel. It won't be the same for me, but if they do it right, and I was having a conversation with a coworker today from Intel, and I said, you're immersed in Batuu, and Disney can keep building it out and continue to build it out. I think that's really right now the part of Disney World or Disneyland that's for adults. Everything else it's fun for adults, but it's mostly for kids. But like Batuu is like, it's definitely like, as an adult, a kidult, full blown Star Wars fan, it's unparalleled. And as long as they keep adding to it, it's a rock solid win for me. You read that Lord George Lucas actually approved each script, so maybe there's some value to them. However, I think Disney and EU are like alternate universes. Yeah, I like their parallels. And here's the thing about Legends. Disney's been dipping into Legends regularly. Like Thrawn in Rebels, hello, straight out of the EU. Like, we've seen a lot of things pulled out of EU or Legends that wouldn't be there otherwise without that inspiration. So, there's plenty to be pulled. And so I don't think they necessarily need to conflict with one another, as long as you accommodate what is Legends, and what is canon, and there the tween shall meet, and nor they should. It would restrict so much. It's too much, right? That Disney would not be able to do, and they needed that. They needed to wrestle back control. I have zero problem with that. Zero. Never had an issue with that. My big concern with Disney is how well they do with it. Some people don't like the direction. They're entitled to their own opinion. I happen to be okay with it. I'm entitled to my opinion. Some people don't like modern figures. I do. And some people only like vintage. I do as well. I there are very few things that I'm black and white about. Like, yeah, sure, vintage figures are fun, but so are modern figures. Especially amazing characters like Enfys Nest. This is what we need. Dude, if they announced an Enfys Nest show, oh, man. Oh, that would be solid. I would flip for an Enfys Nest show. Because I don't know if we're going to get a Solo 2, which I would love as a miniseries as well. But, man, oh, dude. That was a character. That was a character. Enfys Nest had so much more depth than Boba Fett. So much more of a story, a reason to be, rather than, someone who looks cool, a Mandalorian. Yeah, absolutely. Don't get me wrong. I love Boba Fett stuff too. But, Enfys Nest is an absolute character I would love to know more about. I will say this. I like Boba Fett. I like Mandalorians. No problem with them at all. I think there's a good story to go, with Boba Fett. But I find Enfys Nest to be far more compelling a character, far more interesting of a character than I do Boba Fett. And I've known Boba Fett most of my life. But yeah, Enfys Nest is one of the better things to come out of the Solo movie. A lot of good things came out of Solo, but definitely a huge win there. Let's see here. I'm not sure how to track some of these comments, but some of the Dark Horse comics were also good. Yeah. But again, that's where there were so many things that you didn't know about, that weren't centralized, that were uncontrollable, that were conflicting, that were interesting, fun, but at the same time, so unwieldy. And a lot of good things came out of Dark Horse, absolutely. But again, I was glad that we at least had a solid foundation to build on and to rally around and rally behind and build kind of together in a way that only Disney could effectively manage. One company, one entity, truly helping guide its direction. I was hoping Solo 2 would be called Crimson Dawn, a Star Wars story. That'd be neat. Yeah, again, there's so many things that we could have explored around the characters or storyline out of Solo. So many. There was so much promise in Solo. So much. Even how it turned out. I'm of the mindset, and by the way, you listen to me long enough, you're going to hear me repeat stories, but I'm of the mindset Solo did not suffer because it was not a good film. It was an amazing film. It was a great Star Wars film. I enjoyed it more than Rogue One, by far, and I enjoyed Rogue One. Solo, I feel, suffered not because of timing. It suffered largely because of marketing. And I think there was, these so-called fans pushing back, hating on The Last Jedi, that I think drew that sentiment. I don't think there was enough marketing around it. They went with Solo because they knew it was a popular character, which is probably another problem. As much as Alden Ehrenreich did great as Han Solo, people already had in mind who Han Solo was, and that wasn't Han Solo to them. So it could have been the subject matter that made the film, not that much more palatable. But I really truly believe marketing was so muted around Solo, no one knew it was happening. The trailer wasn't compelling. I heard several times over from people who love these films and who, after they see Solo, say, wow, that was really good. I'm like, I know. I was telling you. It's the truth. Ramble on 1970. What Galaxy's Edge exclusives did you still want to pick up? Oh God. The Toydarian toy shop was full of things. The Tourney wooden block toy that had Vader on it, I would have wanted to get. Maybe some of the superposable figures would have been neat. These figurines. I went with the Vader one, but it'd be kind of neat to have like a Stormtrooper or a Boba Fett to complement. These are neat, right? You know, the posable figures. I don't know if this one's really loose. I think it's just the band that's inside that's not exactly taut. Look, he's like posing with attitude there. It's difficult to get him to strike a pose. But then it's a Saturday Night Night Fever. Staying alive. No. The Coke bulbs I would have liked to have picked up. They didn't have any. The Mouse Droid popcorn bucket from one of the eateries. I should have smuggled out a spork. I would like a set of 4 sporks. They're not for sale. I asked stupidly, and they said, no, that's not for you to take. I asked. I shouldn't have asked. I should have just taken it. Because apparently people did. So I would like a set of 4 Galaxy's Edge sporks as unofficial merch. What else? I'd tell people, take pictures. A black Kyber crystal I would like to have picked up. The droid factory playset I would have liked to get with the Gonk droid. There's a few, I mean, like I said, there's a few things that if someone was going, I'm like, take pictures. Or like, this is what can you get this? Can you sneak it into your suitcase, right? Do you have space for it? Because I don't want to, ask for too much. But there's quite a few things that I'd still want to get. Hey, Rebel4206, good to see you. Mike Dion, sorry, I apologize. What do you think of Disney Plus streaming service and having access, so I assume all Star Wars related content? And by the way, when I'm answering questions, y'all, as you're doing, jump in. Answer these questions too. This is a community chat. It's not just me. I'm just here to facilitate, right? So... Oh, and I got to get back to the upcoming Disney Star Wars Hotel, too. I missed that question. I apologize. I think it'll be nice. Disney Plus, the value to Disney Plus to me is being able to get to all the Disney content, not just Star Wars. Because I purchased every Star Wars movie. I'd like to get Rebels content, the Clone Wars content, Resistance content, and more importantly, unique content. I want a new Star Wars show every quarter. I'm so demanding. A new Star Wars show every quarter. Like a new content to watch every quarter. I would love to see from Disney. I've already got the movies. I mean that's great. Don't get me wrong, but like getting unique stuff that I can't get anywhere else. That to me is worth the price. And then of course having the other Disney content too, especially the classic movies. I enjoy a lot of the old movies. And old movies, by the way, that were old when I was young. Like The Ugly Dachshund, the Shaggy DA. What was it? The computer. Kurt Russell played the computer, the boy who was a computer, the living computer, the Nutty Professor, the original. A lot of the classic Disney films, right? I loved those growing up. Are you excited for the upcoming? Even Pollyanna, that was a good one too. And the original Parent Trap. I could keep going on and on and on. Bedknobs and Broomsticks, loved that film. Traguna, McQuaid's, Decorum, Satis D. Was that right? I'm like pulling from like very arcane like knowledge here. So the upcoming Disney Star Wars Hotel, yeah. You want to talk about expensive? That's my biggest fear. I talked about this with John the other day. It's going to be so expensive, but that's something like I have to do. I don't know how. I don't know through whom, but I'm like, how do you make that happen? Like. Intel's a great gig. I've been like, I would need to work 2 jobs at Intel in order to afford that, I think. But I'd be looking forward to it very much so, just to be immersed in it. I don't know. I think I would probably enjoy a Star Wars hotel, the one they're building, more than Galaxy's Edge. I'm saying that. I'm going to say it. I think that's true. I'll enjoy it more, I think. You're sleeping in because they're going to have, like, themed soaps and shampoos and towels and showers and, refreshers and, like, everything. And everyone who's walking through the hotel is just like, you're not going to stay there unless you're a fan. So, everybody else who's staying there is a fan. That's cool. That's fun. So the very okay on Mixer. Can you tell me about Rancors? Well, they're big, mean, fun to collect, especially the vintage ones. I don't have all the Rancors, unfortunately. I thought there was going to be a Forces of Destiny Rancor, or maybe Galaxy. There was going to be a Galaxy of Adventures Rancor figure. I think that's what I caught from Yak Face once. They're vicious. You can't reason with them. They're big. It's about all I can tell you about Rancors. Apart from that, I'd have to dive into the visual dictionary and say this is what a Rancor. I love the key to Batu you have. Yeah, usual Mike. I think I saw your comment too. I got lucky with that as a collectible. Did I get the holocrons? I did not because I didn't think, as much as I think the price is justified, we already had the game holocrons. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to get that much out of it versus actually having like a Kyber crystal. I feel I got more out of just having the Kyber crystal, like, which is back up there, than an actual like a Sith holocron. Maybe on a subsequent visit, I will get like a Sith holocron. But it's kind of like I had to figure out, is the price justified? And honestly, looking at some of the price tags after the fact, I'm like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have gotten that. I don't regret it, but it's like I probably could have punted. Like on the Jedi patches, which I got for my daughter. I'm like, is it worth this much? I don't know. Let's see here. The Love Bug. Oh, yeah. Gus. The donkey. What was the flying, the oddball, unidentified flying oddball? Was that Disney? Then, of course, Herbie the Love Bug. Yeah. Ocho. That was from Herbie Goes Bananas. Those Callaways never got into. So many Disney classics. Oh my god! Now that's what I want. Like, if you want to know what I want in a Disney Plus, probably more that than Star Wars. Believe it or not. You can just visit the lobby of the hotel when it opens. Oh, good to know. But I'd still want to stay. You love the original Star Wars. Oh, it's finally being converted to 4K. Is that going to be worth it, though? I mean, the film's kind of grainy. Is 4K going to be worth it? I'm the kind of guy, though, I mean, I can see the difference between 1080p and 4K, but I don't know if I can see that much of a difference. Maybe I got the wrong TV. Maybe I got the wrong 4K TV. I don't know. Another one, another classic, Disney classic I like, the Cat from Outer Space. Was that the name of it? Jake was his name? The Cat from Outer Space? That was a fantastic one. One of my favorites. Go figure. Space. Aliens. A cat. God, there were so many good classic. I mean, like, classic Disney movies. The journey. You know, with the dog, the two dogs. Bodger was one of and then the cat. Journey. They redid the film, which was hilarious. God, what was something Journey? The long, I can't remember. Oh, Candle Shoe. I'm like some of these things. I don't know where they're coming from, but like you're like really getting me to think. Was that the name of it with Jodie Foster? Yeah, Homeward Bound. That's what it was. What was I thinking? Journey. Homeward Bound, the classic one. Yeah. Candle Shoe. I loved that one too. Candle, right? I'm getting it right. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's all Disney now, right? It's all canon, right? Old Disney movies are now canon. Live action version of Lady and the Tramp. I'm not so much into a lot of these live action redos of the classic cartoons or even the modern cartoons. That's just me. Personally. That's me. Personally. It's my choice. Gray Jedi. I think there are certainly Grey Jedi out there. I like, honestly, I don't know if I'd consider Ahsoka a Grey Jedi because she's neither Jedi nor Sith. I like Ahsoka's approach because she's neither one or the other. And I think that's a great way for a Jedi to be. And if anything, potentially even a predictor of what we're going to see in The Rise of Skywalker. Because, Luke has been espousing, or had been, effectively, that it was time for the Jedi to end. Their hubris, which he used twice in The Last Jedi, led to their downfall. So I think the future of the Jedi and the Sith, potentially, But I think more so the Jedi walking an individual's path are more along the lines of Ahsoka. Now, Ahsoka, boy, to see her show up in one way, shape, or form in Episode 9, she'd be up there. I don't know how old Togrutas can get, what their lifespan is, but it would be amazing to see Ahsoka on screen in any way, shape, or form. How they pull it off, I don't know, but that would be fantastic. Where I'm thinking of the Incredible. I'm not sure if it was the Incredible Journey. I'm not. I remember the narrator. I can hear his voice inside my head. Oh, and then of course, like the comedies like Hot Lead and Cold Feet with Jim Dale, who was hilarious. Pete's Dragon, naturally. The Apple Dumpling Gang, classic. We loved the Apple Dumpling Gang. Loved. I mean, the chemistry between Don Knotts and Tim Conway. That was actually really sad. Tim Conway, as a kid, when I was a kid, my favorite comedian by far. I watched the Carol Burnett show. I know we're veering so far off of Star Wars, but man, he was the reason I tuned in. Like his facial expression, his timing, like it was impeccable. So anyway, who's ready for the Dark Crystal show? And maybe this is the time we start winding down. I don't know how long we've been going. I don't see if I have a time anywhere. Oh, about an hour. Okay, so we're about time to wind down. The Dark Crystal. I gotta tell you, I may not be doing Star Wars radar shows that day or those days, because that's a show, I don't care when it's launched, I'm like, clear my schedule, I am binging. And that's probably something I would watch, a series I would watch twice or 3 times. Because I loved the Dark Crystal. I loved the mythos. It was disappointing that it wasn't a success. I enjoyed it as a kid. Enjoyed it as an adult. I think they're going to exceed expectations because I'm excited. I'm just excited to see anything. If anything, I'm worried. Funko's the one who's producing the action figures, and they haven't done a very good job with their action figures in the past. So I'm worried about that. But beside that, I mean, they have the spirit of the Dark Crystal intact. I hope it relaunches the franchise. In recent years, someone uploaded a bootleg copy of the original version of the Dark Crystal, which, if you didn't know, was basically the whole movie was not in English. It was basically spoken in the language they spoke in Thra, or on Thra. And you didn't understand anything. So you had to figure things out based upon how the puppeteering worked, which to me was just spectacular. So someone uploaded this bootleg copy. It's like black and white. The soundtrack nothing was polished, nothing was finished, but it was awesome because you could actually see Henson's vision and Oz's vision for this film. And that it was spectacular because you could get into the puppeteering more so than you can in watching the film in the spoken language of English or whatever your native language is. Like if I had one wish for the Dark Crystal, it's not that it continues, is that they re-release, and I don't think they ever can or will, re-release it in its original intent, not in any language that we understand. Let the puppets do the talking, the puppeteering do the talking. It was so, it was eerie. But it was spectacularly eerie. Audiences just weren't ready for it. But they, I think it would have played well today, this day and age. But man, it was so good. It was so well done. Even in the crappy quality, I would rather almost watch that again than the movie itself, like the movie as we know it. Like even the low quality, because you have to the artistry of the puppeteering. That's the thing I'm curious about, if they're going to nail it with the Age of Resistance. So, should Disney bring the Dark Crystal into the theme park? Dude, I'm in. I'm okay with that. Whatever you got to do. Skeksis love Gelfling. Or help Gelfling, I should say. Oh, this is what I'll ask Disney. Please. I was a fan. I collected the Dark Crystal. I bought the movie. I apologize for like blowing everybody's eardrum out. Okay, that said, now that we veered wildly off topic, which is prone to happen when we have these discussions, I love it. I think we're all within the same universe here. Thank you for tuning in. I will be back tomorrow talking about Star Wars stuff. Whatever hit your radar, whatever hit my radar. Love this time that we spend. Hopefully I'll hit my time mark tomorrow and not get caught up behind other things in my schedule. So thank you everybody for your support. Thank you for hanging out. I love you. I appreciate you. And at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices. And before I say the final part, I'm going to remind you, you're more than welcome to join us on Discord. There's not much going on there, but thanks again for following. May the Force be with you. Always.